Hi guys, it is Thrifty Mommy here, and I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. It's just going to be a sit down and chat with you guys, and it's not a topic I usually think about because I am nearing 30 years old and it's just not something I like sit there and ponder about, but figured it might be an interesting topic for some of you. If you put the numbers together that I have an 11-year-old, well, it depends on when I upload this because he will be 11 on the 3rd. So anyway, and that I'm not 30 yet, you will have figured out, and I have mentioned it a few other times, that I am a teen mom, or was a teen mom, when I got pregnant and when I had Trevor. That's my dog wanting to get out. So I thought I would kind of touch on that topic a little bit, let you know kind of like how it affected me and what my thoughts are on being a teen parent, just kind of that kind of stuff. So I'll start at the beginning that me and Chris had only been together for a really short time, 3 or 4 months when I got pregnant with Trevor. And if you watch back to my video where I say the truth, I think it was titled "The Truth Not Suitable for Children" or something like that, you will have known that I was a drug user and a drug addict back when, and my husband had actually gone to treatment. So he got clean during that time frame, and I got clean during that time frame, and we got pregnant unexpectedly, and so it was a total shock, and I was nervous to tell Chris at first. I thought, you know, I didn't know him entirely well, you know, that's why you wait so that you're sure you're with the right person, and luckily I was, but that's why you wait. I really didn't know his views on this whole matter. I didn't know, is he going to want me to have an abortion? Is he going to leave me to take care of this baby on my own, which I would have done if that was the case. I didn't know. I was like, is he going to be one of those guys who thinks you have to get married just because you're having a baby, or all that kind of stuff. But it went over pretty well, telling him that I was pregnant and everything, and time went on, and you know, obviously he stuck with me. We're still together today and we have 3 kids now, but I do want to stress that that's not always the case. It rarely is the case in teen pregnancy, teen parenting, where the father is still with the mother and they go on to get married and have a happy life and whatever. Statistically, that just rarely happens, you know. So my parents were pretty shocked to find out that I was pregnant when I was, and but they were supportive at the same time. I mean, they didn't financially support me or materialistically support me or anything, but like emotionally supported me through it, and I think that was the most important thing. So what really was hard for me, looking back, for being a teen parent, was I lost a lot of time. Me and my husband love to go camping and fishing and things like that, and because of the fact that we got pregnant so early on in our relationship when we were so young, we never had the opportunity to do things together as a couple without kids. You know what I mean? It like, looking back, I'll be honest, it would have been nice if we could, you know, go to the movies without having to worry about getting a sitter, or go camping, go fishing, or hang out. And we like to watch movies a lot, or TV shows and stuff, to just be able to hang out at home and sit on the couch and watch TV together. We never got that, you know. We went from one bad lifestyle to having kids. So there was really never, not even that 3-4 months that we were together, it still wasn't like we did couple things or anything like that. So I kind of, you know, we missed out on that kind of stuff. And the one thing I do have to say is I do think having Trevor kept me from going back to my old lifestyle, and in that aspect I do think he's a big part of what saved my life. Or you could look at it as I saved my own life by just doing what I did. But anyway, so I would say one of the hardest things was financially. We've always struggled financially, and even to this day sometimes we do, but we didn't have college education. We didn't have college education. Heck, I didn't even graduate from high school. My husband didn't graduate from high school. He ended up getting a GED while I was pregnant with Trevor. We both worked at a small factory, and it just, we weren't going anywhere by any means at that point in our life. We were just like, we weren't financially stable necessarily. We were just getting by. So we rented houses and, you know, just kind of skated through for the longest time. And then Chris finally started going to college when we moved to Arizona, and by then we had already had a second child. But it is very stressful, and I want to make sure that, you know, sometimes other teenagers who think they may want to have a baby or something like that, they would need to understand that not only are you going to grow up and miss your teen years, if that doesn't matter to you, what should matter is that you and whoever you're with, whoever you're having a child with, are going to change. It will always be the same, no matter who you're with. People change over time. You're not an adult yet. You feel like an adult. You feel like you can make adult decisions, and by legally you can make adult decisions most of the time, and but you feel like you've got it all figured out and everything. I did. I'm sorry. My husband sure did, but as the years go by, we totally changed into different people, and we had to grow with each other, and that's a really hard thing to do in a relationship. When you go from being a teenager to an adult, it's a drastic change, and it is hard on a relationship. Having a baby or a toddler, or a baby and a toddler in my case, is hard on a relationship to begin with, and then you add in the fact that you're having to learn all about this new person, basically. Speaking of your spouse, your boyfriend, your whatever, because really you're so different from when you were first together that it is basically like learning an entire new person. What happens if that new person doesn't meet your expectations of what you thought that person was going to be? So I dare bet if you ask most 30-year-olds to go back and look at what they were like when they were 15 and 16 years old, they are entirely a different person now than they were then. So you have to think about that too when you're having kids, when you're kids, you know. And it seems so weird saying that, because I always hated it when people said that to me when I was a kid, because I was like, well, I'm not a kid, but really looking back I was. But it's going to be hard emotionally and physically and financially and mentally, and it's just really, really hard. So I don't ever want to give off the impression that, well, look, you know, we own a home, we have 3 kids, we're happy, everything's fun and dandy, and you know, that's just what teen parenting turns into, and it's not necessarily what teen parenting turns into. We've had more of a this route in our relationship, in our marriage, and in our parenting as time has gone by. And I'll be honest, that is one of the biggest things, it is the biggest strain on a relationship ever. Now, I've had a child now, Jackson, when we were further into our relationship and we were older, and it was much easier to handle than when I was a teenager and Chris was a teenager and we were having kids. We fought. We were always concerned about money. We fought about money. We fought about how to discipline kids. It was a lot of arguing back and forth to figure out, who are we? Who are we as parents? And that sort of thing. So anyway, that's just kind of my experience, I suppose. And you know, and the other part of it is people don't trust you. People don't trust your parenting skills, or you're always going to be, people are going to be second guessing you constantly, and you can't necessarily count on having help, you know. I never did. My parents didn't really help me out with much of, like I should say, financially, or like taking care of the kids. My mom does now that she's older, but when I was a teenager, it just wasn't available. She wasn't able to. So, but I always had people doubting my skills as a parent, and that was really frustrating to me. Or having people think I needed more advice because I was young, or just stuff like that. So anyway, I know this is kind of a really rambly video, but it's something I've kind of wanted to talk about for a little while, and I just never have gotten around to it. And oh, and one more thing. You will lose your friends. You will. Maybe not all of them, but you will lose your friends over having a kid when you're a teen. They may think it's cool to have a pregnant friend, and oh, it's so different and everything, but as soon as that baby comes along, they're gonna be gone. And you can't blame them. You can't get mad at them for it. I have one friend from when I was that age that stuck through and stayed my friend. But even then, there was like chunks of time where I didn't see her, we didn't talk. It just became really hard. And I think we really started reconnecting even more so when she had her first baby years later. But yeah, you have to keep that in mind too. You're going to lose friends. It's going to be hard. It's going to be financially hard, physically, yeah, everything. It's not an easy road to go down, and I would highly, highly advise you just to wait until you're at least in your 20s, you know? You know, what I wish I would have done, I wish I would have gone to college and had Chris gone to college and gotten married first, bought a home first, and then went on and had kids. That's not how my life story panned out, and it's still turning out okay for me, but... Okay, can you put that in the garbage? Yeah. But if I could rewind and do things again and end up with the same kids, that's what I would do. So anyway guys, I will talk to you soon. If you have any video ideas, suggestions, or questions for me, leave them down below, and I would love to be able to answer them or do a video. So, alright guys, bye!